Christ.
You can stand.
All right, is this mic on? Very good. All right, so first of all, if you've never heard of me, you don't know who the fuck I am, please raise your hand really high, really proud. See, you're never as good as they say you are. You're never as bad as they say you are. All right, with that out of the way, a little bit about myself. I'm going to make this very, very short. For those of you who really don't know who the fuck I am, I'm originally from Greece, born and raised in Germany, grew up in a factory worker family. Nobody in my family ever received a high education, and I was determined to keep that family tradition alive. So, when I was 17, people losing their shoes, when I was 17, I dropped out of school to start my first business. And since then, I've never had a real job. I've never had real employment. I always had to start companies to give myself a job and work to do. All right, but I don't just launch companies. I've been launching companies my entire life. I also launch baby boys, especially cute ones. This is a picture I showed 5 years ago when I gave my first keynote at this event at its first year. These were my two boys back then. These are the two monsters today. They've grown up a lot, just like this fucking conference. It was like, I don't know, 1,000 people, now it's 5,000 people. And I have a quick story. It has nothing to do with my talk, but I just love telling stories about my kids. The morning before I left to come here, I had breakfast with my oldest. And at the end of the breakfast, I told him, all right, son, I have to run now. I love you. And we had a really beautiful, tender moment. He looked at me and he said, I love you too, Daddy. And we hugged and we kissed. It was beautiful. And then I looked at him, and I don't know why, but I told him, son, I'm proud of you. And he looked at me with this puzzled face and said, why, Daddy? I haven't done anything significant. And I looked at him, and I'm like, son, you're absolutely right. Shit, you're right. You haven't done anything. You get it. All right, go and do some awesome shit with your brother. And he ran away. All right, with that story, he's going places. With that story out of the way, here's what I really want to talk about today, which is how to develop a superpower in a world that is so distracted, that's so short-term, that is constantly changing. We're going to talk a little bit about long-term thinking and persistent action. But first of all, let me give you a disclaimer. Most of the things I talk about, the advice I give, it's timeless advice, but it's so basic. You're going to listen to me, you're going to go, okay, this is your fucking advice? That's what you have to give me? Like, if you came to me and you wanted to lose weight, I would just look at you and go, eat broccoli and work out, motherfucker. Just fucking move your body and put green stuff in it. The problem is not that people don't know how to lose weight. We all fucking know how to lose weight. The reason why there's a massive industry, a gazillion books, Zumba, Mumba, CrossFit, this, that, the other, every year something new. There's pills, there's fucking operations, surgery. There's a million fucking things to help people lose weight. Why? Not because we don't know how to lose weight. It's because we don't know how to lose weight conveniently. People are like, yeah, broccoli and workout, but I don't like broccoli. And just a few months ago, I was with my sister-in-law. We went to the gym, and she wanted to lose some weight. And we started warming up on the elliptical. And she stopped after 5 minutes. And I thought she's just finished with her workout and warm out, and now we're going to go and work out. And she's like, all right, I'm going home. I'm going to see you later. I'm like, well, we just came here. And she's like, yeah, well, I started sweating. I don't like sweating. Think about this. This is not just her, this is most of us. When you walk around, when we all as humans, we walk around, we're like, I have such a big problem. I don't know the solution to my problem. I read books, I go to conferences, I talk to people. I cannot find the solution to my problem. It's not that you don't know the solution to your problem. It's that you don't know a convenient solution to your problem. We all know life is actually pretty basic and simple. Humans, we make it complicated. Right? We know what the fuck to do. We just don't want to do it. Right? We're looking for a convenient answer. So all the answers I'm going to give you, all the advice I'm going to give you today shall be inconvenient. Not flashy at all, but therefore timeless. Works today, worked 100 years ago, will work in 200 years from now. Today, we live in an age that's both awesome and terrible at the same time. We've all figured it out. Even the time we live in is bipolar itself, right? It's that all this change, all this opportunity, all this innovation, all this technology, all this awesome shit that's happening on this planet. And at the same time, we're all walking and running around distracted, full of, looking for instant gratification, looking for short-term results, looking for hacks, looking for shortcuts, always in fear of missing out. What's the next person doing? What should I be doing? What are they doing? They seem like they know what they're doing. I should be doing what they're doing. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. Who else does something else? Like, we're constantly zigzagging. I go and speak to conferences all around the world every year. And one of the problems of this is that I see some people quite regularly, and I can see their trajectory, their career trajectory. And there's one guy I just met this week in Berlin speaking at a conference that I've met multiple times before. The first time I met him, he was a social media content consultant. The next time I met him, he was a big data media consultant. Then last year when I met him, he for a brief period of time was a cryptocurrency. He had a cryptocurrency media agency, helping cryptocurrency startup ICOs launch. And when I met him this week, he was like, oh, we switched the agency model. We're now focused and specialized on AI. And I'm like, dude, you're quite changing what you're doing all the time, right? It's like, yeah, I get bored so easily. I'm so creative. I'm so curious. I'm always I'm multi-dimensional, multi-platform. And the way I think is just integrated in all the things that are happening. I love change. And I'm like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. You are a bandwagon hopping, can't make up my mind making, fear of missing out, buzzword, bumping, nothing accomplishing asshole. That's what you are. That's what you are. Thank you, one person. And not just to shit on one person. We are all in this in one way or another together. Maybe not in business, maybe not personal life. In one area or another, you are constantly changing the trite solution to your problem because you don't want to address the problem fundamentally. Because we're so distracted, we don't even realize that for the last 10 years, you've been zigzagging to nowhere. We've all done this. So, this has nothing to do with it, but this is the most badass Twitter bio of all time. This is called Icon, the man, a myth, a legend when it comes to investors. Not a very friendly person, but this picture looks like he's such a nice guy. He's a terrible human being. But his Twitter bio is so awesome. Some people get rich studying artificial intelligence. Me, I make money studying natural stupidity. Fucking love this. This is so dope. All right, so how do you develop a superpower? In this world, fast-changing, fast-paced, short-term, distracted, ADD, you learn how to think long-term. This is now flying over everybody's head. You're like, this was funny up until now, but now this is so fucking obvious. What does this even mean? You learn to think long-term. You learn to focus and concentrate. Those are skills that we are losing. Less and less people have them, so if you have them, you're gonna seem like a superhuman. You read an email for 10 minutes without checking Facebook, Twitter, or Tinder? You wrote something in one take for like 2 hours, you fixed the problem, you stayed with the problem for a long time. Those things will seem superhuman very, very soon. And then thinking alone is not enough. You think long term, but then you have to act persistently every single day. All these things are not flashy, not nice, not cool, right? Somebody's like, I wish we would talk about AI and how it's gonna make me superhuman. Don't just take it from me, right? This is one of my favorite quotes. It's not that I'm that smart, I just stay with problems longer. When everybody tries to fix a really difficult problem, sooner or later, their patience, their focus, their energy, their persistence runs out. I just stay with shit for much, much longer. So how do you do that? All right, so here's one of my favorite founders and companies on this planet, Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Here's why Amazon is the only one of the big internet companies in the first bubble in 2000. It was Amazon, eBay, and Yahoo, the big three. Here's why Amazon is the only company that's still crushing it, and why Jeff Bezos is the richest man alive. When every other company in tech and in Silicon Valley was asking, what is changing? What's the new shit? What is the next thing? What's the new startup in the garage doing new cool shit that we need to copy or buy or compete with? Jeff Bezos set a North Star for his company. He said, we need to define, not ask ourselves what is changing. We need to ask ourselves what will never change. What will never change? And he decided, well, people will never want to pay more for shit, and they never will want to wait longer for shit. So everything we do, any technology we use or we invent needs to be a servant of this long-term goal. The next question I want you to ask is, when it comes to people, you really need to be long-term thinkers. No assholes, no compromises. When you meet somebody and you work with, and you ask yourself, shall I work with this person or for this person? Here's a simple rule, a simple question to ask. Would I be happy to work with this human for the rest of my fucking life? If the answer is no, don't work with him for a single fucking day. Don't make compromises when it comes to people. Ask yourself, am I willing to invest in this relationship for the long term? I've hired some amazing people I had to recruit for 5 years. I tried to hire them, they said no, and every month for 5 years they got a call from me. And then guess what? When the company failed and they were looking for a job, who was the first person that came to mind? And then, fuck goals, right? I used to be really goal-driven. I set really huge and ambitious goals. Oh my God, this year I'm gonna run 17 marathons and I'm gonna build 2 new companies and I'm gonna write 7 books, all this big shit. And I felt good for a second and then I failed, right? I didn't do all this shit. And also, even when you accomplish goals, here's one of the design problems of goal setting is you say, I'm gonna lose whatever, 20 pounds for this summer. Cool. Let's say you do all the activity. Let's say you lose the weight. What then? Now you lost 20 pounds. What now? What now? Nothing. You haven't thought about it. Oh, I want to make $1 million. Cool. And now that you made it, what now? $1 million, 20 pounds, writing a book, all this shit is temporary. I want you to set goals. I want you to set long-term goals that will define what short-term daily habits you need to create. I want to live a healthy, happy, fit life. That means every day, for the rest of my fucking life, I need to work out, I need to eat green shit, I need to be healthy. It's part of my life design, not just a short-term goal I'm trying to chase. And then all the thinking in the world will do you no good if you don't take any fucking action. And persistence, follow-up and follow-through are so rare today because people are just not patient. You want instant gratification. You want to do one email, one call, one, hey, can I work for you? Alberto's a really good case. I ignored him for like 4 or 5 weeks of him emailing me. A lot of people wanted to work for us. Most people never sent the 3rd email. Alberto sent 5 emails, then he called me. He called all our fucking customers. He made a report. Here's what your customers really think about you. He persisted until he got the job. And now we're getting back to my kids, all right? So, I can't talk for longer than 10 minutes without bringing a kid story up. So I'm driving from a barbecue home, and I have my 2 kids, my 2 boys in the back. And my oldest loves donuts. So for whatever reason, he saw something, he heard something. In his mind, he made up the decision, I want a donut right now. So he's like, Daddy, do you have a donut? I'm like, no. He's like, Daddy, I really want a donut. I'm like, I get it. I understand your feelings, son. Validate, right? I understand your feelings. I understand your desires. They're totally fine. But I do not have a donut. He's like, but I want a donut. I want a donut. I want a donut. Donut, donut, donut. Then my second son joined in. Donut, 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 donut. Donut, donut, donut. And I'm like, ah, this is cute. 10 minutes into this, it stopped being cute. And at some point, I lashed out and I'm like, all right, kids, dude, just because you scream and complain donut won't make a donut appear in this car. And he's like, yeah, but if I stop complaining, it won't appear either. And I was like, shit, you're right, son. You're right. All right, keep doing your thing. And they're like, donut, 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 donut. And 20 minutes later, we stopped at a donut place. This is the face of sweet, sweet victory. This is the face of persistence. And I gave into it, and I bought donuts to teach him a lesson that persistence is really important, but also I was just soul crushed. I was defeated. I could not take it anymore. I was done. He comes after me, for sure. For very, very sure. All right, so summarizing all of this, I love that this is a place for curious minds and curious people. I love that you are here because you want to grow, you want to explore, you want to learn new things, and I applaud all of you. You're awesome humans. But at the same time, if you don't cultivate and practice and build long-term thinking ability, if you don't set North Stars that are going to be true for the rest of your life, and not just next year or next semester or next quarter or next week, if you don't learn how to set long-term goals, invest in long-term relationships, be persistent with your action, the things you're going to accomplish in your life are going to be far shorter and far less than what you're truly capable of. And that, to me, is the biggest waste and the biggest tragedy of humanity. We all way overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, and we way underestimate what we can accomplish in a fucking decade. I can't wait to see what all of you people are going to accomplish in the next 10 years. Thank you so much for listening.